All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Jovial Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Jovi, with my co-host, Brandon. How are we doing, Brandon?
Been an all right week. How about you?
It's been an all right week for myself. That's really that. It's been great as far as, like, Issa's been calling me Dada from her crib. So, like, when she wakes up from naps, like, she lets me know, and I stop what I'm doing. I immediately stop what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, my baby called. So let me get it.
Yep.
That's mainly been it. Let's see here. Jill and Issa are taking off next week. They're going to Minnesota for a trip to go see her family. Just cost-wise, it was easier to set it up this way as opposed to trying to figure us all out. And it's more important to her health. And see them. So I'm like, I'll stay back. We save some money on animal daycare and stuff like that. So,
dude, the animal care costs for real. Like, that's ridiculous.
Typically costs the amount that it takes us to get it. Like, get out there and do all that and then come home. It's too much. That's why we had somebody that was coming to the house, and that was nice. That made it a lot cheaper, like by a good half. And we just haven't reached out since Issa's been born to like do that. Jill and I were talking about that last night. And prospects of like trying again. Hop in. Hey, don't do that. Hey, that face, stop that. You get, pipe down. Because your prayers be going up, and I'm gonna need you to like, hey, a hush. I'm gonna need you to hug. But it's like, hey, we haven't really given ourselves enough like separate time from Issa, like where we have made like things do in the house. And, you know, we spend our time together then, but like getting out completely and it's just us, we haven't done our due diligence in that regard. So for me, I gotta have a step up before we throw in another bundle.
Man, it's tough stuff. I will give it to you. It's really tricky.
We were both like, hey, well, we did one. Let's just hop into it. Let's just round them up. That way, you know, we get them a bit together, and then we can kind of coast after that. You know, especially the outings and whatnot, we have to really be able to make time for that. And knowing that haven't really done that too much right now, like it's only gonna get worse.
Oh yeah,
gotta slow down.
Yeah. Do you have like a frequency of time that you like want to like get out and about? Like, do you guys do like the weekly day night sort of thing, or like some people try to turn it into like a formula, like, well, twice a year. Like,
nope. As much of a man of science that I am, I know when it comes to human relationships, you can't do that. It can't be a formula. Well done. All. Like, we've tried that in other areas of our relationship, and it has not worked out. And I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done with that. There's a natural course of things that just needs to happen, and we can't pre-plan everything.
People try to like hack so much about just being a decent human or working on relationships.
They say life hacks for this and that. You can't hack life. Like, life is not a game to hack. It's not the simulation that you think it is, like, at the very least. We can't. If we think we could control every portion of it, we're delusional. We're living in delusion. Like, there's this one guy, he's like 40 plus years old, and he's trying to biohack his body so where he stops aging. And I'm like, that's not how humans work. You can give yourself as many vitamins and stem cells and all that as you want. I bet you he will make it to 80. I know, that's saying a lot. That's putting money on somebody's life. Hypothetical money, at least. But I'm like, bro, if you think that's how that works, you don't control the matter. We don't control when we stop living.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that will make things have you a better chance at living longer. And there's things that you can do that will give you
and then you
a
die in a
worse
car
chance.
crash. Like,
right. But that's what I mean, like where people try to control too much of life, and it seems like it almost backfires because they get overwhelmed with like, I need to make sure I have all the right nutrients, and then you do realize by stressing out this much, you're just dumping stress hormones into your body, which is whatever you put in your body right now for some sort of supplement. Your body's like, we can't absorb that. I'm freaking out right now. We're like, I can't. I don't know what you want me to do with this.
Your hormones from releasing the anti-stress hormones. Like, that's just not
right.
If you have found a way to do that with simple supplements, I'm surprised the government hasn't scooped you up yet. Like, what are we talking about?
Right, and it's usually like the people, like, I don't know about your world, but in my world, like, it's usually the people that are like, hey, I love smoking cigarettes, and I love having a donut at least 3 times a week. It's people that are like, just like, hey, I'm gonna do me. Like, they're the ones that are like 95, like 96, 97. You're like, you do realize,
and they've held a grudge for 50 years. You have to add that, because why do they last so long? Gerard back in 1952 stole my woman, and I ain't forgave him since. And that motherfucker kicked the bucket, and here I am today, 98.
Suck it, Gerard.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it goes too.
Bro, when I worked at the old folks home there in St. Cloud, I heard many stories about just like angst and anger and resentment, and I'm like, man, you're 101, literally. How did you do it? I got that fire in me.
Yep. Just gonna.
Oh man! All right, so you didn't crack into your week? Anything of note? You just been busy. I mean, the people know we weren't here last week, but I won't say it was because of you.
It was. I mean, it was because of me.
I said I wasn't gonna say it.
I said I'm okay owning it.
Yeah.
I mean, we went down to St. Louis, saw the Arch, because we're doing all the national parks, and the Arch is a national park. And then we went to Kansas City for a grad party, and it was awesome. I will say, looking at the videos of when they created the Arch in the 1960s, nobody up on that structure was wearing a harness or strapped into anything at all. They're just running around 600 feet above the ground being like, hey, Tommy, we need to bolt this one in here. Can you toss me the wrench there? And, they're just doing their thing. No one dies. Like, they're just like actually being careful and cautious.
What the fuck is that accent, bro? What? It's a mix of Midwestern and New York.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because they would have met. Yeah, they would have met in the middle, man.
Yeah, wrench over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Funny, dude. That's funny.
But it was no joke. Like, at one point, they get to the top, and they have like the last piece to put in, and their margin for error is 1/64 of an inch.
Oh, absolutely.
And so they had to like hydraulically separate the two like sides of the arch, and they had to push them apart to fit it in, which I can't imagine being up on there and being like, yeah, let's just try and push them farther apart so we can get this one in here.
it kind of sits in like a keystone piece in,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really why it's lasting so long.
Mm-hmm.
That's close specs. That's really close specs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure.
I also will say I have a little. Wait, what? What happened? What happened?
Don't worry about it. Keep talking. It's fine.
All right.
I'll fix it.
There you go. See, I will say the other thing about it, like on the arch, like it's a little. It's people I think it's cooler than it really is. I mean, it's a big metal structure, but it's not as cool as like, you know, Yosemite National Park or like Kings Canyon or something like
The
that.
natural parts are way better.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm never gonna top.
No.
All right, man. We gotta crack into the week or into this week's schedule.
Yeah, man.
I have.
How old?
You start with yours because it sounds like mine's pretty good.
Okay. All right.
How old were you?
I was today years old when I learned that the population of the state of California is more than all of Canada.
I heard that a couple years ago, actually.
I didn't.
Probably around the time I moved here.
It was. I learned it because I mean, you know, the Donald is out here being like, we want another state, and I was like, how big is Canada? Just went out
It's
and like
pretty big.
Well, I know it's big, but population wise, I was like, oh, y'all, that's not that much. Like,
Yeah, they don't have as much inhabitable land as we do.
they got polar bears though.
Yeah, that they do, and they also keep their cars unlocked, so people have a chance to like run into them.
What? For real? Like they like, hey, don't lock
Now,
your door.
I can't say that's all regions, but I know it's like upper section, and they also do it like it's kind of like an Arctic Circle thing,
like
keep
don't
the
lock
car doors unlocked because of polar bears or moose being the other one, especially in Canada, because they will obviously try and eat you and maul you. So
Yeah.
don't lock your car doors. Let people save their lives.
Dude, there was I didn't realize this until recently. There was that gal who went missing in California, like up in the Sierra Nevadas, and she like survived because like a resort owner, he leaves his cabin unlocked in the winter and early spring.
Who?
There was a gal from Georgia that went missing for like 3 weeks in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And she
Not
lived.
the one with her with her boyfriend that got killed.
No. It was someone else. She's officially one of the coolest people alive though, because she was like, I'm really good at foraging and I know a lot about plants, so I can survive a long time. Like she, in the press conference, was like, please, I know what I'm doing out here, and she did. But the resort owner was like, oh yeah, no, that's why we leave all the doors locked. Actually, is for people that get lost, and they're like, yeah. You know, we don't stock them with like food and stuff because of rodents, but like, you know, at least you won't be exposed to the elements all the time.
There was a camper that like he was content creator, and he goes around in the wilderness and whatnot, and he would find cabins that are just like left, and they don't have anything in them but a wood stove and shelter, and that life or death right there. So
yeah.
There's a lot of those instances of just people helping people in adversity.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Speaking
What's yours though?
Of cold
Yours
regions, how old were you when you learned that ice is actually considered a rock? Geologic.
What? For real?
Yes. And further, if ice is rock, then water is lava. I wrote it out. I'm not grabbing my whiteboard, but I wrote it out.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'm tracking.
Ice is rock, water is lava. Kind of. Lava is any molten rock coming out of terrestrial planet. Hmm?
Okay. All right. Yep.
And molten only means liquefied by heat. Water's lava.
Ooh.
Water's lava.
Clip it. That's the one.
That's the one.
Right.
I got it.
Right there. Water's lava, everyone.
I got a banger this week.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize that. That's kind of wild.
That's how it's funny how like the science language works in conjunction with the others, where it's like, yes, those words mean stuff, but to us they mean something different. Like how
Correct.
you use them, you think molten has to be hot, on fire, sort of thing. No, it just means that it's been heated up. Molten means heated up.
Yeah. Interesting.
And if ice is a rock, it sounds like somebody got really high and was like, wait a minute. It was a geologist major, and he's like, oh. Ice is rock. We know that. We've been studying that in class today. But follow me now.
Just take a little walk.
Is a rock, right? Right? We walk in, and there's ice, and it melts. That's molten. Water's lava. And everyone in the room's like, nah. Wait. The X-File.
That's exactly what it would be. Just watch all the sort of, all the math problems suddenly start coming out of the background. Like, oh.
The scene from The Hangover.
Yep. Wait. Dude, that's interesting. Did you see that? What is it in Sweden? The town that just got wiped off the map recently by a glacier.
No.
Or is it Switzerland?
I heard of another area getting flooded, like wiped out. But
no, this one was a modern town that I think it was either geologists or seismologists that were like, hey, there's like lots of things, movement happening here. That glacier is moving a little bit more than it should, and if it breaks loose and becomes like, kind of a moving glacier, yeah, like I don't think you guys want to be here. And so we have satellite images now where it's like, hey, if you're wondering what happens when glaciers move, this is what it looks like. And it's
glaciers
like
are rock
town.
slides.
Yep.
I'm trapped in the. I'm in the zone.
Well, that's why I was like, wait, it's not. It's okay.
Not an avalanche. It's
not an avalanche. Yeah. We need the X-File sound bit for everything. But it was wild to see it. Just kind of like, oh shoot. So when people are like, how did all these like passageways get carved in the mountains? And they're like, glaciers. And you're like, but how? And then now it's like, oh, so they just like come loose occasionally and just start ripping through the landscape.
You can't even say occasionally because it's umpteen tens of thousand years in between.
That's true.
The break. It's like,
yeah,
no, they occasionally just kind of break free. No, wait. They now occasionally break free. And that's Revelations all over.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh goodness! I'm not high enough for this. Let's
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like when you start reading all the stuff, you're like, this gets a little gets a little gnarly out here.
It gets dicey when you really look at the text and you're like, huh? I don't want to be that guy, but you might want to fix up.
All right, can I gotta vent about something.
Proceed.
A little bit related to this. So as a whole, I think humans, we are far dumber than we realize.
Facts.
Okay?
Guaranteed.
Here's
also way smarter than we realize.
Yes.
Proceed.
But not in the right ways. Like, okay, so like the whole AI thing that you sent, I was like, no. We gotta go backwards. But now I was like, this is how dumb we are when we're like AI is becoming sentient a little bit now, and now we got to go backwards because this is getting dark. Anywho,
this man says sentient. This man says sitting.
So we all know there's a super volcano out underneath Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me why geologists and seismologists were like, you know what we should do? We should take a bunch of trucks out there to see how big this thing is. But how we're going to figure it out is we're just going to start shaking the earth with these giant, massive pieces of machinery. We're not going to drill down. We're just going to start like creating vibrations in the earth to try to see how deep it goes.
They're going to use sound to resonate the earth.
Yeah,
they're going to shift a tectonic plate on purpose, but accident, kind of, sort of. What are we doing?
Right. Why do we do that? And we're like, this is a good idea. We're just gonna like take these big things and you're gonna smash them into the ground, and then be like, oh,
this is a '90s movie.
No, this is how we die. Because all of a sudden they're gonna be like, oh no, and go poof.
This
and then
is
we're
exactly
dead.
The thing that some dumb scientist does in a sci-fi movie in the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like how we could send oil riggers to a comet to blow up the comet.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. Why not train the already scientists to then do the labor that they need to? You know what?
Right.
Y'all stupid. The whole lot of y'all. Stupid.
All of it. I read that and I was like, wait. You did what? You went out above a known supervolcano. Like we know it. Like we know it's there, which is why we're also all kind of like nervous about it. Cause we're like, if this thing like does do like Mount St. Helens impression, like the US, we're like,
oh, we're dead. And the Don's not helping us now. So if that happens, we
got no friends. There's no friends.
Royally fucked. We are royally, like, I'm talking no spit, no lube, dry entry, bend it over. It's now okay. I have other subjects that I want to get to today, but I need to interject real quick because Pastor Steve, listen, I know I run this show and I know this sounds crazy, but we talk about a lot of good stuff too. I haven't told you, I had a chat with my pastor the other day. We have to talk about it. It was a good chat, mind you. It was a good chat, but then Tanner made me realize, hey, but don't you talk hella stuff on your show? Like on your show? and I gave him the title to my show. Like, yeah, no, check it out. It's cool. Like I talk outlandish on there. I preface, but I was like, I didn't give a hard enough preface. And Tanner was like, didn't you say go eat a bag of dicks on the show a week ago? And I was like, you know what?
Yes, you did. So when episodes go suddenly missing, we'll know why. It's because, like...
that would be way too many episodes. We're losing half our content off of what I've said alone. More than half. I'm being really graceful.
I definitely was going to be like, I mean...
But hear me out. Again, Steve, we also talk about very poignant things related to everyone, especially men, but everyone in general. And I'm about to get into that. I feel like I have to jump.
Go for it. Yeah, let's make the jump.
I'm like, you know what? I didn't tell you before the show. So, all right. Man, I'm going to save my next, because I had two. How old were you? I'm going to save my next one for next
That's
week.
a good one. That's a good one, by the way.
I got another good one. Bro, I had bangers, but then my boy didn't show up for filming, so it was cool. Anywho, let's get into our mental health topic of the day. Not gaslighting.
No.
That's that's something you guys get from experience. Just see how the show's run, and you'll know what gaslighting is. It's perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay, all right. We've talked about it a while back, but I think it's time for us to bring it back around. The whole mental health campaign has gone way too far. And I need you to talk about it from your perspective, being in the field. Me, pseudo in the field. I practice without a license, sort of.
Yeah, so it's gone too far from my perspective. So there was a New York Times article that I used in a course I taught on diagnosis, and it was called the title of it was The Americanization of Mental Health. And the whole topic was essentially like, hey, the gist of it is like, we are creating things that aren't there sometimes, or we're over applying this microscopic like analysis of like, oh, do you sometimes feel stressed out? You might have anxiety, instead of going, we might need some stress to actually get us moving in life about different things. So we've gone too far because we create a lot of hypersensitivity to different stressors, and we've now seen in a fair bit of research in the mental health world that there's a lot of resilience that no longer is there that used to be there. Like it's almost like we applied almost like too much of we applied the kid gloves too much sometimes. Like, for example, so I love history, so I'm always like reading books about different historical figures and biographies and things. But my newest one was on Ulysses Grant, and this dude at 12 years old started a business where he's like driving horses 40 miles to deliver goods like from Ohio to Kentucky, and he like takes passengers along and has to ford rivers at 12 years old. And the adults are like, we're not going to make it. And he's like, I've got this. And he's 12 years old. And then people are like, why was he so good in the Civil War? And it's because he's probably like, man, I got experience galore on handling stressful situations. Like, I'm pretty good here. But you look at figures like that and what people used to do at certain ages or were capable of emotionally tolerating versus what we have now. And it's not to say that, it's because we're, it's not to say anything too negative. Like, you just have to keep things in balance. Like, you can't deny mental health struggles, but you can't think that everything is a mental health struggle. Like in one of the, like with trauma, for example, like if everything is traumatizing to people, then nothing is traumatizing. Like, not everyone can have trauma. There might be some people where there is, but there's some kids that will be like, I went to school and it was traumatizing, and we go, oh no, what happened? Was there some an intruder, or what went on? And they're like, I had a stain on my shirt. You're like, oh man, I think I just call that a Tuesday.
Did you get bullied? Like, did somebody pick on you or anything extra? It's like, nah, it's like I had a stain. It was really embarrassing. It's like, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah. So I think from my perspective from the field, we've created everything being a mental health issue.
Yeah.
And we've suddenly now robbed people of their resilience and their ability to see themselves as like capable of overcoming a lot of things. Like want to say we should invalidate things, but I don't think we should forget that people are really resilient and powerful.
I'd be with you like 95% of with what you say, and then there's 5% where I'm like, shut up. No, because we do have to invalidate some of these things. 100%, because I have to invalidate the statement, you having stain on your shirt, no one picking on you, anything, what have you, and you being embarrassed is not trauma. I am 100% going to tell you, no.
Yeah.
Because it's this notion that we can't invalidate anything at this point. But obviously it's multifaceted, excuse me. Wherein I like where you said, we've gone too far. And then you were mentioning the point of we don't want to invalidate, but we have to kind of push back is what I think you're getting at. But then there's two other perspectives that I hold where, yes, we've normalized it to a point where, everyone kind of can claim a title, but now we've pulled away from the people that it actually affected more.
Right.
And then the statement that I said presently of, we truly have to invalidate some of what is being spoken because it's not true.
Yeah.
And we have to, now there's ways of doing it. You're a lot more gentle in your presentation than I find myself in when I help people in the world. Because I don't have a license, I'm able to just say what I want and gallivant in these streets. There's compassion toward it that I still hold, but also there's a part of me that I'm like, if you truly want to get better, then you can't hold yourself in this position. Holding ourselves to these continual labels, we lose who we actually are. Like, if I were to continue to profess the notion that I'm bipolar with DID subjects, that I am, then I forget who is Jovan then. Who actually is the person that's saying all of these things, because it's presently no longer me. It's now what I've picked up from society and every other portion of it.
Correct.
I like you said, I don't have a balance of.
Yeah.
And that shift, it's been a tidal wave of now everybody has anxiety, everyone has some sort of autism, and yes, I understand it's a spectrum, but some of you guys are just stupid. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as you're claiming that you're autistic or have ADHD or what have you, no, you actually are just kind of dumb about who you are for yourself. And you've picked up these tags to try and identify with, when I don't want you to identify with any title.
Right.
The title's not going to get you healed. Like, that's nothing but telling you where you are in the mix of it all. I currently am dealing with a manic depressive state. I understand I have bipolar. That is something I'm afflicted by. But to say I'm constantly that, I mean, it only builds from that.
Right.
As we characterize ourselves. So I want to be known as a great person that helps others who is also just so happens to be afflicted by XYZ.
Yeah. It is so frequent where I have to remind people, like, your mental health isn't a terminal illness. Like I have to be like, look at this, like the diagnostic manual, right? Very rarely does this thing say this is lifelong and this will haunt you forever. And most of the diagnoses in here are temporary. They are not. They're just a snapshot of what is now and what we need to do to overcome it. Not to just go, I know what I have forever now, therefore I am.
Therefore I am. that statement right there is something that we here in America, especially, take on too much.
Mm-hmm.
This
way too much.
Now, it's not wrong in to say, I think, therefore I am, but realize what you're thinking. Go back to that point of, well, I'm constantly thinking that I'm depressed. So, I mean, yeah, I'm in a state of depression. It's like, well, do you see where your dots are connecting? It's a constant point of like, I am. How about I feel good today?
Yeah.
How about just feeling good today?
Yep.
I am better than I was yesterday.
Yep.
Cool.
I've had people where they've said, well, I am depressed. And my rebuttal has been, I'm not sure you are depressed as much as it is your lifestyle is depressing. Like there is some amount of power of choice here. Like if I sort of allow myself to do things that make my mood worse, like I don't know that that's a mental health issue as much as it is maybe I need to do things that improve my mood.
Staying indoors all the time, and I'm like, you wonder why you're sad. You ain't got no vitamin D for real, right? And that kind of literally correlates to happiness.
Yep.
Oh,
getting
yeah, go ahead.
Right. All the research that has gone into like how much your body needs from fresh air, sunshine, even just being in nature, like how much your body improves just by being like, I don't like take your shoes off, walk barefoot in the grass for a little bit, go swim in the ocean, go to the beach, go hike something. Like your body loves it.
I'll tell you this. I don't know a truly happy hermit. A truly happy hermit. Why? Because we're a group. Like we're a societal group, a societal species. To then go and separate yourself in a huddled mass just of loneliness. And you're expecting to be like, this is the happiest I've ever been. No.
Yeah.
No, you're jaded. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I wish, again, I come back to this point. I wish we could truly just say the things that are actually true, like in our heart of hearts, as opposed to this notion of like, I have to give some cover up. I have to code it in something so people don't feel X, Y, Z. Now, mind you, this is coming from a person who lived that life 100%. I will code every word I have in the sweetest honey. You'll never know I've been sad a day in my life. But anybody that knows my history, knows my background, is not a delight. It's not happy. It's filled with turmoil and pain. But me never stating that I am in pain, like I'm afflicted in pain right now, I'm keeping myself in pain.
Correct.
And I was talking with Jill about it here this past weekend, where I have to call out America in this, where we have brought ourselves to this point of individualism that has gone way too far. Yes, we have an individualistic set to ourselves, but we're the same.
Yep.
We're all the same. And we all deal with the same matters in just different ways. We really need to understand that it's all the same. It's equal in the idea that, bro, we're all gonna be people who deal with pain. We're all gonna deal with sadness. We're all gonna deal with joy. We're all gonna deal with triumph. We're all gonna deal with failures. Like all of it's equal. Guess what?
Yeah.
The equaling determiner in all of life is death. And I can't be mad when death happens. It's the great equalizer. All of us succumb. Stop thinking that we're separated in any form, and like we're all going to. So back to the point of the guy earlier, like he's living a lie, and he's thinking he's going to avoid like death someday because he's trying to, you know, live through stem cells and supplements. And like, bro, you gonna kick bucket like the rest of us, no matter how much you try to claw at it. So like, don't bind yourself to these subsets that we have. Recognize that we are all the same. And we need to communicate these points to those around us so that we truly can heal as people, as just a group of people that live on land. We've divided ourselves individually. Society has divided us, but like I think the individual tip is way more caustic. They played their cards. We understand they played their cards. And now we're dealing with this whole notion of, well, I need to do everything for me. I need to separate. I need to be this, that, and whatever. But that's not what people are.
Yeah.
We are a group. And I'm going to keep preaching it till the fucking sun goes out. We are a group, and we rely on one another. Unequivocally. Like, we're not getting around that. We need one another. People, let this be my good advice for the week. Reach out to somebody and say the thing that you're holding on to. I don't want you to be in pain for the things that you're holding on to. If you can at least let them go. Maybe no one helps you. I'll be the first to tell you, maybe no one steps in. But you do feel better at least saying the thing that's on your heart.
Yeah.
I promise you guys. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Peace and love.